Hey everyone, and welcome to the results video of the park recreation contest. In this contest, all the players had to recreate a park that exists or a park that has existed in the past. Now, we got 13 entries for this contest. The players were allowed to take quite a long time, several months, to create this. So the parks you're going to see are pretty big. Alright, in this video I will show you all of these parks. I'll start with the one that got the lowest score and I'll finish by announcing who's the winner of this round. Okay, in 13th place we have this entry from Ricardo, Wodo and Lurker. Ricardo Wodo did most of the park and in the end Lurker helped him to actually finish the park. And together they recreated the Dutch park Slagharen. Well, I actually did a series of this park a few years ago when I joined a contest that was hosted by the park. I do still remember actually building an entrance just like this. It was pretty fun. Now next to the entrance we can see this nice coaster. It's the park's mine train coaster. And the park has another coaster here, which is Gold Rush, which is its triple launch coaster. Now the park is pretty big like this, but yeah, Ricardo Wodo kind of ran out of time. So there are quite a few parts which are still a bit under detailed. Well, for example, there's a few rides which are still in test mode, like this big swing ride around the big globe here. And over here in this section, yeah, there really aren't a lot of guests walking around. Not sure if guests can actually ride the chair. I do see some guests on it. But yeah, I think it looks quite nice. Some parts would still need some love, but yeah, Ricardo Wodo simply ran out of time. But I think it's still impressive to see all the stuff that he was able to build in the park. Okay, then in 12th place we have the entry from Horror Girl. Horror Girl created Great America, which is now known as California's Great America, I believe. But it's a version of the park in the 1990s. Now, I don't really know enough about the park to judge what it looked like in the 1990s. I believe Horror Girl also included some rides that were added later. So it's a bit of a mishmash between existing rides and rides from the past. Which of course is just fine for a contest like this. Now, it's I think it's incredible to actually finish a park of this size. So I want to congratulate Horror Girl on that. Now there are some interesting rides in the park. We can see this big shuttle loop here. I quite like it with this big loop. There's also some ride over here like this with this spinning cars. Yeah, this part does look a little bit weird with this section here. That's probably where Horror Girl placed the station. A ride like this will probably work better as a shoestring. I can also see a big log flume over here with some interesting drops. You can see a little Wonderland themed area, looks like. I quite like the way this ride is decorated. I think that looks really nice. One of these old drop towers. I think that's also pretty cool. But yeah, you can find lots of really nice rides in the park. Now some parts do look maybe a little bit under detailed. This part probably maybe a little bit bland with just these fences here on this big sea of concrete. Probably these fences could have used some poles in between, for example, just to make them look a little bit nicer. Maybe a few lamps scattered around here. I think there's usually good ways to kind of decorate these large concrete islands. But overall, I think Horror Girl did an incredible job here. By the way, I will now go through these parks quite fast. If you want to see the parks for yourself, you can download them from my Discord server. You can find a link to my Discord server in the video description. It's completely free. Okay, the next park is from Papa Neth. Now he created an incredibly huge park. I believe this park is called Holiday World and Splash and Safari. Now this is a park in America and has some incredible wooden coasters like Voyage. I also saw a coaster named Raven in the park. Looks like there's also a big water park. Now yeah, this park is absolutely huge. It's over 300 tiles long in one of the directions. I think in OpenRCT2, parks usually look better if you condense them a little bit. So this park is probably a little bit too stretched out, and that's also reflected in the guest pathfinding. There were lots of pathfinding mishaps. Well, you can see another one over here, for example. The guests really have trouble at finding one of the rides. So yeah, if you do a recreation of the park next time, just condense everything a bit, make everything a bit smaller in scale. That helps avoid these huge concrete squares or seas. Then you also don't have to have your staff members running around at crazy speeds. But yeah, I thought the coasters were pretty nice. Not really sure why Voyage here uses the RMC track, since it doesn't really use RMC elements. Maybe it's for these launch sections on the slopes. Probably the coaster train wouldn't make it through if these sections weren't there. But it does kind of make the coaster look too fast here, I think. So yeah, if the park was a little bit more condensed, I think it would have scored better. But once again, incredible job finishing this park. Alright, the next park's from Brutal Seed. And Brutal Seed, well, this is his first time joining this or a contest on my Discord server, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, Brutal Seed created a small stretch of Cedar Point. So of course you can see a Millennium Force here. Very recognizable, I think. Very recognizable layout. I love how it goes over this little island here. On this island, also these other sections here. Looks like a little playground of sorts. And over here we can see another coaster. This is Rougarou, which sits quite close to Millennium Force. Now I believe this is the only entry that does a small section of a park. But I do think Brutal Seed did it quite nicely. I especially love the station for this railroad. I think this is one of the nicest sections of the park. The entrance area over here, well, this is probably just made generic like this, because it's not really actually a part of the park. Probably would have been better maybe to have just invisible entrances to just naturally lead into this park. Now, I also quite like the awnings that were used here. That's pretty nice. Yeah, and also the outskirts of the park. I think they're also very nice. I quite like this road. Although it probably would have been nice to see some parked cars here, or maybe some boats on the water. But yeah, I do think it's a nice little stretch of Cedar Point here. Nice job. Okay, here's the entry from B Player. B Player created Hansa Park. It's a park which I've actually been to, and I loved it. Now over here we have the car park for Hansa Park. To be fair, I think it could have used a few more cars that were parked here, because there do seem to be a lot of guests in the park, a few thousand. Now over here we have the entrance, pretty recognizable, and lots of buildings here. And then we enter the park. Now I'll focus mostly on the coasters in this video. Of course, you can just download the park and check everything out for yourself if you want to see the rest. So there's these two intertwined coasters here. There's this big Schwarzkopf coaster. I believe it's called Nessie. Quite recognizable here also with the big drop tower it has now in the center. Now, if you build something that's really tall in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, it's probably best to scale it down a bit, because this looks looks ridiculously high in this game. Maybe it is actually up to scale. Not sure. 123 meters, probably scaled up. When you build something RC2, I always recommend scaling it down a bit if it's really tall. But still, I do really like the layout as it is recreated here for the coaster. That's quite nicely done. Also this other little coaster that's intertwined with the loop. Now here we have Flug von Novgorod, the launched Eurofighter coaster with the weird layout. There's a launch at the beginning, and then later at some point in the building it has this vertical drop. And then a short section of track before it returns back to the station. But yeah, I think the tower here looks really nice. And of course, the main attraction of the park is Slagharen. Yeah, wonderful ride with the iconic huge tower. I don't believe it actually drops back here inside the tower. And the real ride actually does that. But of course, if you want to do something like that, it does require some complicated shoestringing. But yeah, I think the layout here looks nice. Looks quite a lot like the actual thing. And I think overall, BE Player did a really nice job recreating the park. I think it looks really nice. Okay, the next entry is from Bags. Bags recreated Boudewijn Sea Park. It's a small park in Belgium. I believe the actual park is deteriorating quite badly. It's actually a kind of a mix between an amusement park and an animal park. So there's also some of these buildings where they have animal shows with dolphins, sea lions, etc. Now it was actually there were some news reports about this park because apparently some of the animals were treated quite badly and some of the park was in quite bad shape in disrepair. But yeah, I hope this park finds its former glory once again at some point. Now, I do think Bags did an awesome job recreating this park. These buildings, they look great. You can actually also look inside these buildings if you use the cutaway view, as you are instructed here on the side of the building. And then in here, you'll find this big play area. Here's a big restaurant. Here's a building that has this show with these dolphins. I think this stage also looks really cool. I believe Bags said in the story that he hasn't actually visited this park. He mostly just used online references and Google Maps to create it. Now I looked the park up on Google Maps and I think Bags recreated it quite faithfully. The shape is really recognizable. So yeah, a wonderful job recreating this park from Bags. Okay, the next park is the one from In Arrow Predicting a Fault. And he created the British park called the Dreamland in the town of Margate. Now, this park has one big coaster and several smaller coasters. I believe it's one of the oldest coasters in Britain. It's called Scenic Railway. It's, it looks like it also uses the... Wait, no, it doesn't use side friction cars. It uses the articulated roller coaster vehicles. Well, yeah, really old coaster. Pretty simple layout. I think it looks wonderful here in the center of the park. I think it's really an eye catcher. Now, I love how this park is laid out. And I love the way In Arrow Predicting a Fault did these paths. I think these paths look really nice like this. Also with all the nice foliage next to them. The nice and colorful coasters in between and the other rides. This park is just really nice to go through. I think it looks wonderful, and the colors are really nice. The surroundings, I think they're also wonderful. Love this car park here, all the other buildings. Here's a big building on the coast. This building, I think it looks wonderful as well. And lots of other buildings here on the seafront as well. Also a beach here with a tidal pool. And looks like here there's some little tidal ponds probably that are still have a connection to the sea. But yeah, I loved going through this park. And I think In Arrow Predicting a Fault did a wonderful job on it. Probably one of my favorite parts is actually these buses that he created. I think these look amazing. Alright, next in the list we have the entry from Walto. Walto is a newcomer on our community, but he has been making parks for many years. And he created Memphis Kiddie Park. It's a small park, probably close to where he lives or close to where he grew up, because I think nobody else would build a kiddie park for this contest. But still, I think Walto has a great eye for detail. I mean, I love how he did the car park. He actually used this metal grating for the floor here, or these metal blocks, and used all these different objects to make it look yeah, a bit crunchy, as it's called. Yeah, together this just looks really nice. Also like the way he created these trees using these stems from one kind of tree and all these bushes around it. That's just done really nicely. Lots of details like these roads here, but also with these power lines next to them. Yeah, just an incredible eye for detail. Now, also these rides here, I think they all look great. I love these this little ride here, also with these arms. And yeah, there's just lots of small little rides in the park. This is lovely coaster here in the center with the car ride. All these lovely rides here. Yeah, I think Walto just did an incredible job here. I really loved watching this park. Really nice job. Alright, next up in the list is this entry from Albert, Immortal Cactus, Low Poly and the Brew. And together, of course, they created Knott's Berry Farm. Now, I'm immediately gonna start off with a little negative, probably. That's that they also included lots of the outside area of the park. Well, this is not actually an area of the park. This is just a block right next to it. Not really sure if these parking lots are also belong to Knott's Berry Farm, but yeah, I think it would have saved them a lot of work if they just left out this part. I don't think this was really necessary. Also, it has some gaps in here of buildings that were simply not recreated. So it probably would have been best to just leave this part out. But still, the part that is part of the park here, also with the parking lots, I think it looks incredible. So here's the main park, and then here across the road there's the water park. Now there don't seem to be a lot of guests in the water park, which I think is kind of a shame. Maybe it's because the park is so big that we only find a few guests over here. I would have liked to see a few more guests in here. I do really like this area over here with the actual park. Here we have some iconic rides like Accelerator. Yeah, I love how they tucked it away here in this corner. Over here, Hang Time, one of my actual favorite rides. And they also did some nice trickery here, so that when a vehicle is actually on top of the lift hill here, let me quickly speed it up a bit, then it will actually stop there for a while, just like the actual Hang Time ride. Here you can see it. Not really sure how they did it, but it's a neat trick. Probably just an invisible vehicle over here in front. And then an invisible holding brake. But yeah, other rides also nicely done. Here we can see a Silver Bullet. And there's several other rides here as well. Now, I really liked my visit to Knott's Berry Farm. And I think these players did an incredible job capturing the vibe of the park. Really nicely done. Okay, the next park is on the list is from Fitwell. Fitwell recreated Busch Gardens Williamsburg. And I like how when you open the park, you immediately see one of the most iconic spots of the park, which is, of course, this pretty old coaster, Loch Ness Monster, and its iconic interlocked loop. Yeah, this park, once again, really massive. I already showed the coaster in the middle, but I think Fitwell did a great job of recreating all the coasters in the park. Here we have the iconic dive coaster, Griffon. Here's Alpengeist, also a pretty well-known ride. I really like the way Fitwell did these supports here, using these signs and these coaster track pieces. Yeah, that looks incredible. We can also see another coaster here, Woody in Vader. But yeah, throughout the park there's these incredible looking rides. So the paths also look really well done. Some nice foliage next to them. Here we can see a nice show area. Yeah, I think this park is just really fun to explore. Lots of eye for detail. Yeah, Fitwell did an incredible job recreating this park. Here you can see another nice ride. Over here we see Apollo's chariot. Not really sure what the correct pronunciation is. of course, not quite well known for the incident with Fabio. You should probably look it up on YouTube. Also, here's the different parking lots. Now, by the way, I checked all these parks on Google Maps just to see if I could recognize the general shape, and I think Fitwell did a great job recreating this park. Okay, then we have arrived at the top 3, and in third place we have the entry from Ball Pit Warrior. And Ball Pit Warrior recreated Fun Spot Atlanta. Now, I believe Fun Spot Atlanta at first was just a park with some go-karts, lots of mostly carnival rides, small coasters, and then at some point they invested in a huge RMC coaster, and it just looks out of place at the park, according to Ball Pit Warrior. And yeah, I really like the way this coaster just dominates the park. I think it's a really great investment. I hope it attracts a lot of visitors to the park. Now, I think this recreation of this coaster that Ball Pit Warrior did also looks incredible. I love the way it looks here. It's just really nicely done. Also, these footers done really in a really nice way. All these extra supports. Yeah, this just looks incredible. Also, the buildings here in the park, they just have really nice facades, really nicely done. And also these go-karts in the park, they also look great. They have some extra rides here, some small coasters, some slides. Here there's the mini golf that the park has. Here's some more rides, not really sure what this is. Betting cages. Oh, I guess some kind of baseball ride. Not really sure. But yeah, also in this park, lots of nice details. I think the park looks really clean. And I also really like the way that Ball Pit Warrior did the traffic here right next to the park. It really gives some life to this area. So yeah, what else can I say? Ball Pit Warrior just did an amazing job here in this park. Now, there's just 2 more entries remaining. I will first show both of them, and after that I will reveal which one is the winner of this round. Okay, here's the entry from Risico. And Risico recreated an existing park, Emerald Park, that's in Ireland. And what the park is mostly known for is that a recent addition of one of these Vekoma suspended thrill coasters in combination with a family boomerang. Now, it looks like Risico actually used the limb-launched coaster track as a fake track, then with these vehicles under them. And that definitely looks quite like the track that Vekoma uses for their inverted coasters. I think that's pretty nicely done. Not really sure if this Giga Coaster track is the correct choice for a family boomerang, or maybe I just didn't look correctly. But yeah, it's really nicely decorated. Love the station for this ride. Also the surroundings, I think they look really nice. Now I also once again looked up the map I looked at the park on Google Maps. And I think Risico stuck to the actual locations of most of these rides pretty well. Also a beautiful looking wooden coaster. These supports and then the extra details like the flags, I think they look really nice. So wonderful little water coaster over here. Maybe it's actually a splash boat ride. Not really sure what it is in the real park, but it does look really nice here. Here we can see some other, it looks like a dueling mini suspended coaster. And there's several other really nice looking rides as well. Love this coaster that travels around this dinosaur here. That's just so nicely decorated. I love these fences with all the foliage here. Yeah, it just looks so wonderful. Here's another great looking ride. Not really sure if I'm on board with this section here. So these S-bends are probably just meant to create a diagonal section here. It's always a bit tricky when you recreate an existing ride and it has a large section that's off grid. Then it's always, of course, a little bit difficult to recreate it in OpenRCT2. But yeah, of course, you should probably just look through this park for yourself. There's just lots of wonderful details to discover in the park. And I think Rishiko can definitely be very proud of what he created here. Really nice job. Okay, and here's the final park of the bunch. This one was made by X, Mamarias, who makes his return, Swag Titties, and 30. And together they recreated Silverwood. Now, yeah, this park also looks incredible when you zoom out. Now, Swag Titties actually made a video series on recreating this park, I believe. I didn't follow all the episodes. And in the end, he got help from several people to actually finish the park. Now, yeah, I think this park looked great. Also, a big part of the surroundings has been added. One thing I am missing a little bit is that, well, the original park is actually built right next to an old, now unused airstrip, and I don't really see that back in the park. So that's something which personally, I would have liked to see some of that over here, probably not right next to the park. But I do think that the stuff that was recreated here does look really nice. Now, probably would have also liked to see some traffic here on the road just to add a bit of life. But yeah, most of the focus has actually gone into the park, and the park itself just looks incredible. These buildings have all been built with a great eye for detail. All the rides in between, they look great. I love the way Swag did these guys did these curved paths. That's just done in such a nice way. Love the way these fences are made. See lots of really nice rides. This looks really fun. So it looks like these airplanes are just going around here in the outer circle, and here in the middle there's a smaller circle with these vehicles going around. And when these rides are both running, it actually looks like these planes are on the end of these arms. That's just super clever. But yeah, lots of really nice details. Here we can see a little helicopter ride, another swinging ride. And of course there's also some really nice coasters in the park. Here we can see this single rail coaster that looks beautiful here in the center. That's this great river rapids ride. So lots of foliage surrounding it. Here we can see an RMC. I believe it's in the actual park. It's still a wooden coaster, but Swag took some liberty here, or whoever built this coaster. Also a big wooden coaster here in the corner. Here we can see one of these Vekoma giant boomerangs. Yeah, there's just so much nice stuff in the park. These buildings also look amazing. I think, yeah, these players together just did an incredible job in this park. Wonderful work. Alright, now it's time to reveal which one of these last two entries is the winner of this round. Is it Emerald Park from Rishiko? Or is it Silverwood Theme Park from X, Mamarias, Swag Titties, and 30? And the winner of the park recreation contest is... Silverwood Theme Park. Now, we got lots of beautiful parks in this contest. Of course, only one can be the winner, and that's this park. I think these players did great to actually finish a park of this size. Now, I think all the players that joined in this round and actually managed to recreate a complete park can be really proud of what they put together. These parks were all, yeah, really fun to watch, and yeah, it must have taken a lot of hours for all these players to actually recreate these parks. So I want to congratulate everyone who actually managed to complete the park for this contest. Now, a new park, or I should say, yeah, a new park creation contest will start very soon. And once again, players will have around 6 months to create a park with a certain theme or a certain objective. Alright, if you enjoyed watching these parks, please like this video. It would really help out my channel. And I would love to hear in the comments which one of these parks is your favorite. And if you want to see more videos like these, just feel free to subscribe. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed watching these parks. And I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.